Welcome to the Spoiler Kings. My name is St. Kramer. I'm with Brian the Grizzly. How you doing,
How's it
man?
going, guys? Yes, great.
Yeah. How was your Memorial Day?
It was a lot of fun. My mom actually retired from teaching Friday, so I kind
Nice.
of went over her house on Sunday and brought her balloons and brought her food, barbecue for her, and just kind of celebrated her years as a teacher and the fact that she get up Tuesday morning and not do nothing.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well deserved. Um, cool, man. Did you do any barbecue with the family, or that was kind of like retirement / Memorial Day altogether?
But I barbecued twice. I barbecued yesterday, and then I barbecued again.
Nice.
Today, I had to continue to barbecue.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, just did some barbecue and some burgers and hot dogs. That's about it. Usually I'll do a bunch of stuff. I'll do like some lamb and some pork chops and stuff. This was just this
Have
hot
you ever
dogs
heard of,
and burgers.
have you ever heard of mint jelly on lamb?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had it. I heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, someone was telling me about it today. I was like, man, that sounds different, but I've learned now to not say nasty because as soon as you try it, you're like, oh man, that's perfect. Because lamb's a little more, I don't know, it's not gamey or something like that, but it's a different taste to it. So
It does.
sometimes that might hit right. So I'm not gonna say anything until I try it. So that's what I'm gonna be
Lamb
doing.
is pretty good, man. Because I was trying to get off the beef a little bit as much. So I started getting ground lamb and making lamb burgers. And my girlfriend, when we first started dating, she just kind of looked at me. She's like, I don't know. And I made it, seasoned it, everything. And she's like, oh my God, this is like amazing. I'm like, yeah. So, um, but yeah, it was a fun holiday, man. So we had the day off. But there's only a few things in the movie kind of cinema world that people are talking about. One is Stranger Things, which we'll get to in the next couple of weeks or so. Everyone's talking about that. And then also Top Gun Maverick. That's Everybody's talking about that too.
I mean, it
So
made over $100 million in like 2 days. They're like, this is Tom Cruise's biggest opening. It's like,
yeah,
what? All his stuff, all the Mission Impossible, all the movies he's done. This is the biggest opening he's ever had.
yeah. We're gonna get into like all those details a little bit later, but yeah, it was legit like crazy how well he did like made out like, with something like that. So, and it was just kind of, I think, a perfect storm, Memorial Day weekend, which is obviously a big movie day weekend. First kind of real movie day weekend since COVID. I think everything is fairly back to normal-ish. Yeah. So, I mean, everyone wanted to see IMAX and Dolby Cinema and stuff like that. So, yeah. Cool. Oh, I downloaded some of the music, which is like awesome. So they played the music and it took you back. I don't know if you can hear it or not.
Yep.
And they kept playing it, and it's just like when I first heard it in the beginning, and it gave me the goosebumps, and I was like, oh, I'm like,
oh my
I'm like,
goodness.
yeah, I'm like, this movie's gonna hit. It's just right off the bat, it was so good. So I'll let this play. You want to read the synopsis, and we'll watch the trailer.
All right, let's do this.
Yeah, although we might get copyright claim for the music, so I'll stop it. Probably for sure, but it's all right.
All right, let me go to synopsis.
Watch the trailer.
After more than 30 years of service as one of the Navy's top aviators, Pete Maverick Mitchell is where he belongs, pushing the envelope as a courageous test pilot and dodging the advancement in rank that will ground him. That's what is hilarious. Training a detachment of graduates for a special assignment, Maverick must confront the ghost of his past and his deepest fears, culminating in a mission that demands the ultimate sacrifice from those who choose to fly it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the story wasn't. Yeah, the story wasn't too complicated. Like he gets called back and he has to train these kids to fly this mission that's incredibly dangerous. So the whole time it's them, preparing, and the whole time, he's being told he he's not good enough. He's not, he can't do this and blah blah blah. And he's pushing
too
these kids
old.
and
He can't do this. Yeah.
yeah.
This is not the way we do
Yeah.
things. The thing I really appreciated was that he was like, you have to tell them there's a way to get home. You don't tell me there's no way to get these guys home, and then tell me to make them into a team and for us to care about each other with you not, no way to get home. I'm not going to do that to these kids. And then I'm not definitely not going to do it to, who's in there, one of the people that they put in there. There's no way he's going to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't.
I also like right in the beginning, it's him being told that he's a relic. Like what are you gonna do when we have all these fast planes, better planes that don't need people? Like you're not needed anymore. And he's like, it's like we'll see. Mio's what did he say? He's like, oh, you're
probably
the end of a dime,
right, but today is not the day. Eventually, you're right. Eventually, I won't be needed, but today's not that day. So,
yeah. So and so that it definitely takes and that's just good freaking storytelling. It's like, hey, remember that thing at the beginning, and now it kind of came back to the end and played it into itself again, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean that's all it was. It's just him training these kids. But all the kids were also part of they were the best in their Top Gun graduating class. Yeah, so they were all the best of the best.
Top Gun are the best of the best of the aviators of the Navy. They are. Yeah. That's what Top Gun is. And these are all the best of the best for the last 6 years, basically. They all know who each other are, and some are legendary.
Yeah.
But they're like, who's going to teach us?
Yeah, seriously. And then so we'll get right into some of the good stuff first. And that was one thing I really liked was, he came back and they're at the bar and there's that whole scene of because that was more at the first bar scene was the kids, all these new hot shots getting brought in. And he's just watching them and and he's watching all the young people and stuff like that. Young cadets or legit kids. They're not even cadets. They're graduated. Like
these are older people. Like they have to be 27, 28, 29 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is like 100. So we were actually talking about this. The first Top Gun came out in 1986, guys. 1986. I was born in 1985.
Yeah.
I'm about to turn 37 years old, guys. This movie is 36 years old. That's how many years. So Tom Cruise was that young guy 36 years ago. So really in this movie, he's about to turn 60.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that's the thought process you have to have around this. He's about to turn 60 years old. So yeah, these guys, these kids, they're kids to him, but they're probably between 25 and 29 years old.
Yeah.
They've been around the block a little bit.
That's right. Here, I'm gonna see if I can some pictures of Tom Cruise from that's Tom Cruise from the original Top Gun. So that's pretty young.
Yeah, but you know what? I think even the age almost was a character in the movie.
Yeah, because they're all hot-headed young kids, like it's just kind of like that mentality of like you're untouchable.
Yeah, exactly. You think you can do anything, you're invincible. But I think it was even cool because
Val Kilmer.
When you look at Tom Cruise, you see the age and you see the wisdom and still having the ability. That's plays the character in the movie. And then Jennifer Connolly, she's still hot though she's older, she still looks great. But you still see the age on her. You're a mother now. You're doing all these things.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed seeing the difference between them, and then you got these new kids. We had Rooster. We got Penny Benjamin. You got Hondo, Cyclone. Hondo, Cyclone was the older guy, but Bob, Phoenix, Fanboy.
And I told you, I remember when we watched the trailer, or I said something. Oh no, it was in our Facebook group. So make sure you go check out the Facebook group. And I'm like, oh, imagine you have all these cool names, like you said, Fanboy, Payback, Hangman, Phoenix, and then Bob, and then everyone's like, oh no, it's gonna be short for something. It's gonna be short for something. Like, no, it's legit his first
Bob.
name. It's just Bob.
No, it was weird because he's like his Robert Floyd. That's his Lieutenant Robert Floyd, so they call him Bob.
Yeah, yeah. So poor Bob. Bob was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was so they're not cadets or kids. I mean, they're decorated. Yeah, they're all decorated. Top Gun graduates. So yeah, they're awesome at what they do. So I thought that whole scene was super cool, where they were kind of like, showing like who's the bigger badass kind of thing, and like kind of like what people like that kind of do, like younger kids. And the whole time Tom Cruise is just watching, like Maverick is just watching, and then they wind up kicking him out. And it's all and it's all fun and games. Like it wasn't anything bad. Tom Cruise was kind of, he was, or I want to say Tom Cruise, Maverick was laughing about it. He was just got up and dusted off, and he's like, oh, and now that I appreciate it. It was like, yeah, he understands the mentality and the environment, and he's not mad. He could have easily said, hey, but no, he's like, yeah, let them be them. I mean, later the next scene, when he gets introduced as their teacher, they're all like, "Oh God, what do we do?" Like we messed up, but he didn't care. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I don't know, but even passing that, that scene when Maverick kind of looks at Rooster, that first time, like really looking at him, you could tell that there was some intense feelings. There's something that went down before we even knew exactly what it was. I thought you think it's because because of Goose, but it wasn't because of Goose. It was because of something that Tom Cruise or Maverick did, later. And that was shocking.
Yeah. I mean, that whole scene was pretty cool, where he's on the piano and he's playing like Great Balls of Fire. Call back to the original. Kind of, they even, which is another thing I liked about this movie, is you didn't have to see that one, because it literally cut back to that scene from the original and let you know, hey, this is why he's emotional, is because it is like, a good memory.
Father used to do this, and he used to sit on the piano, and they had a relationship before this, beyond this. And that was something that was interesting to see.
Yeah, so that was super cool. And what are some things you liked a lot about it?
I love the text messages with Iceman. I love the text messages, and because we all know about what's going on with Val Kilmer, all the things he's been fighting, and to get the text messages, and then to be the ability to actually see him and hear him, talk again, and that was just, the whole scene was tough for me to watch, but it almost inspirational. Like, it was amazing. It's one of those things I walked out of the movie theater remembering, like, wow, that was wild. But they always went back to the relationship, though, between Maverick and Iceman and Goose and all this stuff, and it was just how important it was and how strong of a bond it was, because Iceman's the one that got him out of everything. The only reason he was still able to do any of these things because of Iceman.
Yeah. I thought that was like super interesting, because even who is it? Who John Hamm played? Was it Vice? Yeah. Was it Cyclone?
Bo Simpson, Admiral Bo Simpson.
Yeah. So he even like told him, he goes, the only reason you're here is because of Iceman, and then you find out, like, the only reason why he's doing anything is because of Iceman.
He pulled out everything.
Yeah. So that was kind of, and it was kind of a thing that a lot of people were questioning and making fun of, was why he's still a captain. I believe. Yeah. Right.
He said, like, even if you didn't try, you could be a 2 or 3 star general. I mean, admiral.
Admiral. Yeah.
A 2 or 3-star admiral, not trying. You didn't even have to do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Which is funny because like Ed Harris had a very short role. He played an admiral, and he's the one that kind of like went to go stop, this thing that Tom Cruise was doing in the beginning,
Yeah.
which was so cool. He was in this like I don't even know like um super like stealthy, fast, plane. And he had to break Mach 10 and he got it, and then he like go a little bit further, and then Hondo like told him like don't go, it's not 10.1, it's not 10.2. And then obviously he's like,
he has to push the envelope. He has to.
Yeah.
That's just who he is.
Yeah. And then so that was cool, like seeing him how badass Maverick is.
It blew up, and he was able to walk out. We walked to that diner, and he asked the waitress. He's like, "Where am I?" And the little boy looked at him and said, "Earth."
That
was awesome.
That was funny. That was funny. I mean, I get it because like he had like this like the gear, but it wasn't like there was no logos or anything on it. It was just all black, So
it's charred.
So yeah, all charred up. But yeah, that was super cool. I don't know how you felt about it, but visually was this entire movie visually was amazing. At the beginning of the movie, Tom Cruise comes and tells you, he's like, thank you for coming to movies, blah blah blah, all that stuff. And he even said like these are all like real fighter pilots. These are real F-18s. They did as much practical effects as possible. And I mean, there's times you can tell like they're doing a part, I think towards the end, and they do a close up on Tom Cruise's face, and you can see like his eyelids sunken down from all the G's on him. So I was like, oh, this is like legit.
I think that was the best
looks
part.
So cool.
You can see everyone's reaction to being in the cockpit, actually going through some of these stunts. And sure, they might have been not going Mach 10 or having 10 G's on them, but you could see that they're actually doing these things, and it almost became a character in itself too. The camera was amazing, being right in the cockpit, seeing their reactions. That was amazing too. That technology is great. It's perfect for this type of movie.
Yeah, let's see if I can find it real quick. There's that part where he gets takes off, like here on the part of the trailer. Takes it. You see it in his face, like this all the stuff. I was like, damn. But then where he first takes off from the carrier, and how aggressive it is, I thought that was like really interesting. Did they show it? Yeah, here they show it. And you see them. Oh, they kind of cut it, but in the movie,
it's like you go from 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah, he falls down into his seat and like comes up, and this is like such an aggressive kind of like. I mean, you're literally like not flying to flying in like a second, and you're like hundreds of miles an hour. It's awesome. It's so awesome.
The way they filmed the movie gave you adrenaline. Like I honestly felt like adrenaline was pumping through my veins because of how much they're showing these things. It was so realistic. It's so good. I just appreciated the way they filmed it. People talk about the screenplay. I thought the screenplay was great. I thought all the characters are great. I think the way they directed it was unbelievable. So I enjoyed what they did.
Yeah. And we got Loki Cave in chat. What's up, dude? He said, I still ain't watched it yet. Thinking about watching the first one and then watching this one. You really don't need to. And that's another like good thing about this movie, since we're talking about good stuff, is you do not need to watch the first one to enjoy this one.
Yep.
I think if you watch the original back then, because the first one was definitely a product of its time. It's very 80s. It's very that kind of thing. This one is more of like, I think you can watch it whenever, and it's gonna look amazing. It's gonna have a good story. But I think you don't need to watch the first one. I think you definitely get away.
100%. I went to go see it with my wife, and she has never seen anything. She didn't know Top Gun. She was, I don't know anything from anything, and she was enthralled in the movie immediately. Man, she was brought in, and they told enough about the backstory so she understood what was going on. It wasn't confusing at all. So I think they did a wonderful job with it. And you don't have to, as I say, you don't have to watch it from 1986. You just go in, have an idea what's going on, and they'll tell you the rest. They fill in the gaps. That was another great thing.
Yeah. The theater experience is crazy.
Go
This
to
is a
Dolby.
movie you. Yes.
IMAX is great. Go Dolby.
Yeah. The sound. I want to go again. I want to go again and see this in the theaters again, just to feel the experience. Because the Dolby, I mean, you got the insane sound and the great visual screen. This is definitely one of those movies where you got to see it in the Dolby cinema, kind of like AMC kind of stuff. Like IMAX is good, but I feel like I didn't get the full experience. I want to go see it in Dolby. Yeah,
sound is unbelievable. Yeah, you feel it. Especially because we didn't talk about these firefighter jets. These F-18s are amazing. You feel everything, and it just makes the experience even better.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like here, check out this scene. So this is Payback. You can see the G's on his face. That's not a face I don't think you can make. Like that is a lot of pressure on that man's body.
And then they even explain what the G's are doing to you and how it's collapsing your lungs, and you can no longer think, and you're about to pass out. And they explain all of that. So for the common fan that's just sitting there watching the movie that knows nothing about G's or anything like that, can understand what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's another good thing they've done. The story between Maverick and Rooster got me. That definitely, I understood immediately the anger. I understood why Maverick did what he did. Are we going spoilers or not spoilers right now? I don't know.
We can go spoil. I mean, it's really not spoiling too much. It tells you fairly early on
basically where it's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. But he doesn't say why he did what he did until the end, but it does say what he did to Rooster.
So Maverick basically pulled Rooster's application for to be part of the Naval Air Force, whatever, not Naval Air Force, but to be in the Navy. He pulled his naval application so he wouldn't be able to get in the Navy. It actually cost him 4 years. He had to go through it, 4 years longer of work because of what he did. And Rooster never forgave him for that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting, because that meant that Maverick has been in Rooster's life, even from then. Like, he was around, like when he went to high school, he was around all that stuff. So that means you ruined a relationship. That's hard.
But there's in the very beginning, because Maverick is living in, looks like a hangar, like a airport hangar kind of thing, and he has a board, and there's a bunch of pictures of Rooster, like graduating, going here, like all the different schools and stuff. So it's like he's been keeping track of him, which is kind of interesting. Like I saw that right off the bat, so I'm like, oh, he has a very emotional connection to this kid. So
because of Goose, which makes perfect sense. I mean, I think that's one thing you hate about the first movie, is that Goose died. That's probably the one thing you hate about the whole movie. But they did a really good job getting Miles Taylor to look like him. He looked just like him. Man,
really.
The mustache and everything. I was like, man,
the aviators.
The aviator glasses. It was great.
I said just the trailer alone gives you chills, so I can imagine going to see this one would be like, for sure. It's like that. But well, also that's why I always wanted aviators for so long. My main pair of sunglasses that I have are like Ray-Ban aviators, which I was like, right when I hit live, I was like, shit. I went to go run to get my glasses, but I'm like, they're in the garage in the car. I was like, I don't got time. But I love those things, man. There's like, this look badass. Like, they're so cool. And it was because of the first Top Gun, seeing all the fighter pilots and
there's nothing like wearing sunglasses at 9:15 at night.
Yeah.
Makes you feel cool though.
Yeah. Yeah, visually it was super amazing. Everything was practical. I'm sure some of the explosions were probably CGI. Um, but all the airplanes, all the fighter pilots, fighter plane jets, whatever, those were all legit. And that was like really cool. Really, really cool. I don't know, what else? What else? Some good stuff.
I mean, I loved all of it. I love the relationship between between Maverick and Jennifer Connelly's character, Penny. That was
Any?
Penny.
Yeah.
I like that. She understood the life. I'm like glad that he got onto a boat part because that's what naval a naval officer should know how to be on a boat. He's never been on a boat before, so that
Yeah.
was interesting. Even with their relationship with her daughter, that was amazing. And she was like, spoiler alert, she invites him over, whatever, and then the daughter comes home early, and he has to try to jump out the side of the window, and of course the
Yeah.
daughter catches him right there, red-handed. I thought that was hilarious, and she just said, "Hey,
Yeah.
don't hurt my mom again. Don't break her heart."
Yeah. Because it went from like being like kind of like serious to funny again to serious again, and it was just like because it's like he's in his 50s jumping out of a window like like he's like 16. So that's funny, but then you're caught by not the parent but the kid, and it has a different vibe, and it's like, listen, don't do that, don't do this to my mom, and I was like, damn, and you even saw like in Maverick's face was like laughing, gets up and sees her, and it was kind of like serious. He's like, oh shit, like it's different.
But he said it was different. He was like, "Look, I'm never leaving you again." And you know what? Most of the time you're like, "That's BS." But when you're talking to a 50-year-old man, he's probably not. He's really not trying to leave you ever again. So half my life is already gone. I'm good.
Yeah.
I've sold my wild oats. I'm pretty good.
Yeah, but they even kind of go back and explain they have a long lasting relationship of off again, off on again, whatever.
Because he leaves, he
Relationship.
does something else. He goes. He went to Desert Storm. He went to Iraq twice. He's been every war. He's been there. He has the most confirmed kills out of everybody. Like he puts it on a different level. Like, I got 1.5. He's like, I got 7.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I want to get into spoilers a little bit at the end, so we'll do our official review and then we'll get into like full spoilers, because the ending of this film was like chef's kiss, like legit. And Martin said, what do you know about wearing shades all night?
He was in that EDM concert wearing shades all day, all night.
Oh man.
I have to say, even the new kids they brought into the movie, I enjoyed them. I thought that was good casting too. Even as far as bringing Phoenix, isn't that the girl? As she's a pilot, she could do everything the boys could do. And I thought that was cool, and she was chosen for the mission too. Of course, everyone likes Bob, and
Bob.
Hangman was like a mix between Maverick, Iceman, like together, like in the one person. And the fact that he wasn't chosen for the final mission was pretty awesome too.
Yeah. Yeah. He was definitely that very when you think of like an arrogant, cocky, like, like, oh, I'm the best of the best because that's what I am, like that's the person you think of, but even like his name, when Phoenix is like, oh, why he's named Hangman, because he always leaves his wingman, hanging out to dry. I was like, damn, that's messed up.
They call him Bagman.
Yeah, Bagman. But I like the Fanboy was pretty cool. Payback was pretty cool. Like all the new kids were really, really good. I thought they had good chemistry, like with them. I mean, they try to do
they have to have the shirts off football thing on the beach.
Yeah. It kind of made sense, not really, but there had to be that team building kind of activity, because that was like what he was told. He's like, you need to make a team. And he's like, all right, well, then you know, who was it? Vice or Cyclone came and he's like, all the planes are still grounded, no one's there, and he goes into the beach and they're playing a weird set of football where like both sides are offense and defense at the same time. It was interesting, but he's like, "What's the score?" And he's like, "They're not keeping score anymore. They're out there just having fun and being young and."
He was like, "So
silly.
what's the point of this?" And he was like, "You say you wanted to make him a team."
Yeah. And Derpy's like, I'm here. Glad you're here, Derpy. I know Derpy's like, "Did you see it yet?" I'm like, "No, not yet." And then finally I'm like, dude, this yeah. But yeah, you know, I mean, this was a nice little callback to the original and still kind of made sense in this movie, you know. So yeah, it was really, really good. So before we get into our reviews, any bad stuff? Anything you didn't like?
I've been, it's been probably a day. I've been thinking about this. If there's anything I did not like,
I
don't think there's anything I didn't like. I really don't think. I mean, I enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed the timing. I enjoyed all the characters. I don't think they did too long on anything necessarily.
mm-hmm.
I love that Hondo went with Maverick wherever he went. You know, they had connections. I don't know. I really can't think. I mean, the runtime was good. I mean, I love the music. The music was awesome. I was like, oh my goodness, welcome to the danger zone. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, I got
so.
That's how the movie starts. You know, it was like if that doesn't get you pumped up, like with them with all the planes coming off the carrier, danger zones playing, I was like, come on, it starts you off getting pumped up, like right off the bat. And then like as they're going, they're all like doing hand signals and like thumbs up and high-fiving and shit. I was like, this is awesome. This is so freaking awesome.
I mean, the fact that we got to see Val Kilmer, it's special to me. I thought that was really special. So I mean, honestly, there's nothing I didn't like.
Yeah. I see Derpy's review, so we're gonna get into that. But yeah, same for me. I'm trying to think of bad things, and I really can't see a bad thing about it, you know, because like you said, it was 2 hours and 10 and 11 minutes, good time. It was just, you know, you guys are such nerds. Oh, dude,
we are.
I love like jet fighter kind of like stuff like that, you know, probably because of Top Gun 1, you know, like it was just so cool. It was just like, dude, it's fast planes and shooting shit down. But I always wanted to be a fighter pilot, and then like high school I found out, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't do that. Like I don't have the body for it.
I'm all of 6'5". I'm every bit of 6'5". I ain't going in no little cockpit. You must be crazy. I could barely drive a small car.
Yeah. But yeah, bad. I can't think of a solid bad thing in this one. I mean, they even squeezed in a Tom Cruise run a couple times. Exactly. Twice a Tom Cruise run. So yeah.
I mean, what you said, like I love the fact that even Tom Cruise looked small to make you let you know that these guys are not the biggest guys ever. The best ones are not big guys; they're small guys.
Yeah. And Derby said the only bad thing about the film was some cheese parts. That's about it. There were some cheesy parts.
That's the 80s. The 80s is cheesy, so that makes sense. It's almost like they're callbacks. To all any cheesy parts are just callbacks to what it was originally, and I think that it fits because of what the movie was.
Yeah, but also it's also just getting older. You know, like Tom Cruise or Maverick is 50 something now.
Mm-hmm.
trying to be cool. It's like old men aren't cool. I'm sorry. As hard as you try, it just doesn't happen. It just can't. Granted, he's still a badass. But he's just not. It doesn't have the same things where it comes off a little cheesy. I would say cheesy. It wasn't cringy where you're like, ugh. It was very cheesy at times, but it was also a guy who was a badass, in the 80s, trying to still be a badass now. Yeah, see, yeah, a little cheese and stuff. I mean, the mustache I thought was kind of cheesy too. The mustache on Rooster was kind of cheesy. But there's still a lot of guys, especially now, like rocking the mustache. But I can see
you
him rocking the mustache.
Only facial hair you're allowed to have.
Yeah.
You are now allowed to have beards and all this other stuff. So that's the only facial hair that you're allowed to have. That's why so many of them have that little broomstick. That's just part of it. If you understand it, it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so like stuff like that. The cheese I kind of didn't mind because it like you said, it made sense. And also a quick so it's me with my mustache. I did Movember a few years ago to raise some money, and so I had to rock a mustache, and yeah. So there you go. This is my Top Gun mustache there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which I do want to do again. I do want to do the Movember again and raise some money. But yeah. Cheeseburger Eddie, it ain't easy being cheesy. I can see him saying only 80s is cheesy. Terry Crew. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but like Derby said, it's very old school. It's very old school with the newer stuff, and we'll get into the spoilers because I do want to talk about the end, which is full on spoilers. So why don't we just do our ratings right now?
Yeah. Let me go first because everyone knows where I'm going. All right,
what are you giving it?
It's not just a now. This is a now on a different level. I feel like I enjoyed this movie more than any movie that I watched the entire year. I enjoy. I'm not saying it's the best movie. I'm saying it's the most enjoyable movie that I watched this year alone. I know, Batman came out this year. I know Doctor Strange came out this year. I enjoyed watching this movie more. The Batman was probably the best movie. This one is the one I enjoyed. So it's not just, it's a now. I think people, I'm glad people rushed to see it this weekend because of Memorial Day. It deserves more. More people need to go see it.
I agree.
Martin.
Brian's favorite top movies. He's not the only one. I'll tell you right now. Derpy. So here's Derpy's review. He said, let's cut the chase. It's a now. So Derpy's giving it a now. And I'm right there with Brian. This is the highest level of now. Like, if you haven't seen this, you need to go see this. Call off work tomorrow and go to Adobe Cinema, nice and empty, and go see this movie. It was, and I know we were talking a little bit before we went live. And I agree. This was definitely the most enjoyable movie. It wasn't too long. It didn't have like too many like boring parts. Like, there are parts where they had to talk and dialogue and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was action, planes.
From the beginning, just take it off.
From the start.
Let's go. Yeah. We're going Mach 10 from start.
Yeah. Okay. And even the dialogue parts, there was either emotional trauma from who's it, Maverick and Rooster. That was a lot of it, even Hangman gave a lot of issues, because he's trying to be a badass, but he was a dick. And then there was the little love story. The love story was probably the low part of it all. But even that was very, very minimal. Yeah, so this is definitely a now, like right now. Go watch it. It's amazing. Watch it in the best way you can watch it. If you can only see it in IMAX, go see it in IMAX. If you can see it in Dolby Digital or Dolby Cinema, whatever it's called, go see it in that. Yep. And so I'm gonna
and you will feel the movie. It's amazing.
So will you watch this one again?
What are you talking about? I was already trying to find a bootleg online.
We'll go to the theater and watch it again.
I definitely will. I'll definitely.
Yeah.
I was talking about watching it again tonight, but
Yeah.
but I'll definitely go see this again. I mean, I think I'm gonna go take my dad to go see it, and then I'm gonna take like I might go see it with another friend, or just it was so good, and it didn't matter if I knew it was going to happen. It just was good to see it happening. You know, I enjoyed every bit of the experience.
Yeah, and I really want to go see it again. In Dolby Digital. I didn't get to see it in Dolby Digital. Afterwards, I was like, I need to see this in Dolby
when they take off
the way it is. Oh, I bet it's just like you feel it. Yeah. And then Derpy real quick said the Batman was the most anticipated film, but this was the most entertaining film of 2020. Probably agree.
I don't know. Doctor Strange might have been more anticipated.
Overly anticipated. That was
the Batman was the one that delivered the most from there, being anticipated and delivered.
Yeah.
This movie's just it's entertaining. This is it. When you want to go to movies and suspend reality for 2 hours, this is the type of movie you want.
Yeah. I think everyone had a dream to fly planes, which probably, I wanted to do that. Instead, I spent 6 years jumping from planes as a paratrooper. Close enough. I mean, you still got to feel some G's taking off and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I ain't jumping.
Yeah. You're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm not jumping,
man. Yeah. I know, Derpy. It's a Doctor Strange most overrated cheese fest. But I think it's overrated because it was overly anticipated.
Exactly.
If they didn't show you all those trailers, everyone would have loved it more. Yep. That's why I don't want to see any more trailers from Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm done. Exactly. Don't show anymore. If you show it, I gotta watch it because I have no willpower for that.
Yeah, I'm a diehard.
Don't do it.
Like I enjoy when you don't give everything about it. When you don't have to think about all these things that could have happened. No, let's just watch the movie for what it is. This is what Love and Thunder, I hope, does. And Maverick, I think this is what it's doing now. I'm worried a little bit about Mission Impossible because it's giving me a whole year to think about these things.
To really figure it out.
But, you know.
I mean, this one is like, you really only saw one trailer and they kept showing the same parts. And you already knew that. You already knew it's going to be a bunch of planes. And you know it's going to be Tom Cruise in a plane. That's all you need to know, but the story I thought was entertaining enough. Top Gun Maverick 2, Top Gun Maverick 2, the Batman,
3 Doctor Strange,
and then 3 Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness for me so far. Yeah, that's probably where I'm at right now for the year.
I don't know, man. I might enjoy the Massive. I
still haven't seen that.
Massive Talent. Master Talent with Nicolas Cage. That was hilarious. I love that. Pedro Pascal. That was hilarious.
I still gotta see that one. Everything. I would probably put everything everywhere all at once above Doctor Strange. I honestly, I don't know.
See it. I can see it. It's a really good movie.
Yeah. But let's finish this up before we get into some of the spoilers. On Rotten Tomatoes, we got the tomato meter, which is the critics, gave it a 96%. 96. And then the audience. So the audience, 99.
I want to know who's the one guy. Who's that guy?
Who's that one guy?
I didn't like him. He's looking at him like, really, dude? You gonna be that guy?
There's too many planes. I felt like there's too many planes. No, or I can see like, he just wanted planes and no love story or no dialogue or anything.
Yeah. If you don't want, some guys don't like love stories in it. That's just part of the movie. You're gonna get it no matter what. And I always love Jennifer Connelly, so I'm all for it. I know Brandon feels the same way.
Yeah. I mean,
we've had this conversation multiple times.
But 96% critics. That's 329 reviews, and over 5,000 verified audience ratings. 99. Over 5,000 people gave this an average of 99.
That's amazing.
So that gives you, that is probably the best. That's the best out of any movie out this year. That's better than Batman. That's better than Doctor Strange. That's better than almost everything. So there you go.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. So well worth it. I watch you guys weekly, and I don't think about you guys ever nerded out. So
hard for a movie.
So hard for me. Yeah, you guys put cheese on this review thing. I knew I was gonna like it, or I was hoping I was gonna like it. I didn't know I was gonna come out of the theater just like I need to play Danger Zone. Like on my way home, I'm gonna blast it. Like,
so here's something about me. I don't like cheesy movies that much. I didn't like Top Gun like when I watched it into like the 2000s. I really didn't care because it was boring to me, you know. And then finally got to the fire party. I liked the planes things, but besides that, I was like, whatever.
Yeah,
this movie had me from go, and you know, that's just. I didn't think I was going to love this movie. I thought it was going to be okay. It was a good movie. Blah blah blah. No, I love everything about the movie. I loved all the action. I love the characters. This was great.
Yeah, I think it took because the first one, I haven't watched it in like since high school for me. So like 2002-ish area. The first half was kind of boring. You know, you're kind of like whatever. But then once it kicks in and all the action happens, that's when you're like, oh shit, this is super cool. You know,
this movie kicked in from scene one, and that's why I'm like, it's like a literally being in a fighter jet because you're taking off and it never stopped. It just kept on going, and then you thought it was over, and it wasn't over again.
Yeah. We're gonna get into that in a minute. Said Thor, Jurassic Park, Dominions, the Avatar will change depending on those films. Yeah. Because he said it'll probably change July, December. Oh yeah, at the end of the year we'll do our top movies. He said, well, it looks like we all know how old these critics are. With being 96%. Yeah,
that's all right.
You came out walking with that heart on. I guess I might go see it. Dude, you're military. You gotta go see this, dude. You gotta go see this one. You made Brian leave. Oh man.
Oh man, Mark, you're killing me, man.
Yeah. It's
you need to go see it. You're going to enjoy it. We're going to be talking about this. I'm going to come on Dynasty Pylon on Wednesday. And you're going to be like, man, you were right. And I'm like, I told you. I told you it's one of those things. It's an event.
Yeah. You and the wife go to the Dolby AMC, theater, get the best seat right in the middle, and just
you're out of school, so you could go early.
Yeah,
go get the 30% off before 4 o'clock.
The matinees. I'm waiting for Jurassic Park for sure.
Dominion. I want to see Dominion. I hope the dinosaurs win.
Yeah, I mean that's the only reason I want to see it. Like I'm over Chris Pratt. I just want to know how it's gonna end. Like that's more interesting for me. Let's go. Who's hyped for Pause Fear? Oh God, I'm overseeing that trailer. LMAO. Hey, so let me do this real quick, and we're gonna get into the spoilers. I do want to talk about the whole ending. So let's get into that.